By the way, this is a side issue. I've always thought Michelle Obama looked like something was wrong with her. They talk about how beautiful she is. She looks profanely scary and monstrous to me. And she always wears these weird fluffy things around her waist. And her shoulders are wide enough to put 3 men's heads on. And, of course, you know the classic thing of a male. You could have 3 heads on a male's shoulders and only another head on a woman's shoulder, or 1/2 of a head on each side. That's a well-known thing in anatomy. And I saw an online video that I may air today, and we may look into this, talking about Michelle Obama looking like a man and how they only release photos of her with her hands up, covering her shoulders, or her turned at an angle. And I started looking at it with Joan Rivers saying she's a transvestite. And I'd been hearing this for years, and I thought, come on. I know Obama was raised by a transvestite and the rest of it, and I'm not getting into bashing people. That's not my cup of tea. But I started to really last night look at videos of this and look at photos of her in the official White House photo, and she looks like an NBA center. I mean, she looks more like Shaquille O'Neal than a black woman. And knowing all the weirdness and that we don't even know who Obama really is and his Social Security numbers don't e-verify. And then his dad, clearly, we saw the documentary, Dreams of My Real Father. And, I mean, it's him with the famous pornographer who lived in Hawaii, who his grandfather was best buddies with, and who Obama would stay the summers with, a famous communist pornographer. And you look at the guy, it's Obama's dad. So the whole Kenya thing with her saying, my husband's from Kenya, we visited his place of birth in multiple videos in 2006 and 2007. His Harvard review, where he was the head of the Harvard Law Review, and he said, I was born in Kenya in his bio. And in his bio for shopping book deals when he was a senator, state senator, said, I was born in Kenya. And we took that bait, hook, line, and sinker, folks. That, oh, my God, they're covering up the records. Oh, he's from Kenya. But his dad looks nothing like him. And then you see Frank Marshall Davis. I mean, it's his daddy. And then his grandfather's best buddies with him in the CIA. And then you go, oh, my gosh. And then imagine the joke. See, it's all about a joke on us. That he's got cutout daughters, look nothing like him, and a cutout wife. And I began to look at his daughters last night and look at his wife. She's has that double chromosomal disorder where women are really men. And it's turned out a lot of the Olympic runners and a lot of the top tennis players and things really are not even really females. They're not hermaphrodites. Some of them are hermaphrodites, or both. A lot of them have this double chromosome. Men can have it too. And the Olympics are looking at trying to ban this in men and women because men are like supermen. They're like cavemen. And then the women are like men when they have this chromosomal disorder. Was the double X, double Y. In fact, print me some literature on that. I'm going from memory. But I've always looked at her jaw, her shoulders, her pelvis. All of it looks male. She has that male Superman physique. And it just clicked. You know what? I bet she is not who she says she is. I mean, my gut just really registered with that. What do you think about that? There it is, chromosome abnormality. Chromosome anomaly, abnormality, aberration, or mutation is a missing, extra, or irregular portion of chromosomal DNA. It can be from a atypical number of chromosomes or a structural abnormality in one of the chromosomes. Chromosome mutation has formerly used in a strict sense to mean a change in a chromosomal segment involving more than one gene. Yeah, but find the one, guys, that's hyper male or hyper female. It's super male, super female. Because I remember seeing documentaries about it and reading books about it and biology, reading about it. But it's a big issue in the Olympics. They talk about it on ESPN, where they go and they do blood tests on, you know, female runners and folks that don't look like women. And, hey, it turns out they don't have a penis, excuse my French, but that's the word. That's the medical word for it. But they do have male genetics. They're men. They're men. And it turned out, remember the Russians couldn't lose in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and the women weightlifting didn't really look like women. and they would test them, and you know, they didn't have steroids in them, but they looked like men. Well, they were men. Now, continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, let's open the phones up about that. I mean, they lie about everything else. They said there were no death panels in Obamacare, and now they admit, yes, there are death panels, and yes, we have them for the veterans. We have them on list where they don't get treatment, and we just let them die, and then we take the workers from there and use them to take care of the illegal aliens. And Obama's lied about everything else. I mean, what is true? How do you pronounce that? The Klinefelter syndrome? The XXY? The syndrome is a set of symptoms resulting from an additional X genetic material in males, also known as 47XXY or XXY. The syndrome is a genetic disorder in which there is at least one extra X chromosome to a strand of human male genetics for a total of 47. Yeah, that's the one in males. Control F female. I want the one on female. The point is we're going to be investigating this and looking into it because she looks like the women I've seen before on television that have this. So it may just be that she has a genetic disorder, and that's why her shoulders are wider than mine. I have extremely wide shoulders. I have a huge head, but still, you could put 2 of my heads on my shoulders. You could put 3 heads. The average male is supposed to be able to have 3 heads across their shoulders. A female is supposed to have 2 heads, or 1 head in the middle, and you could put a half head on each side. And you look at Michelle Obama in straight-on photos. They're very rare. In fact, I've seen her on television, and when the camera turns on, she'll stand turning to the side. She wears fluffy deals around her waist. But when she's not wearing that, when you see her in a bathing suit, man, it looks like a man. And there are the photos of she's either keeping a banana in her pants. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, or she's a man. And I mean, I'm sorry, we just have to talk about this. And I heard this 8 years ago that he's married to a transvestite. And now Joan Rivers has said it, and she says, oh, it's a compliment, you know, because, you know, being a male or female who's hetero, that's bad, basically. You need to be something else. And look, I'm not attacking anybody. Certainly this agenda is being pushed. And then Obama admits that he was raised in Indonesia by a transvestite nanny. So and his dad's this famous pornographer, and just all this. I mean, regardless, he stayed summers with a famous communist publisher and pornographer. I mean, his grandfather hung out with him and played golf and would, quote, leave Obama there for the summer. I mean, if it isn't his dad, sure looks like him. There it is. Joan Rivers storms out of negative scene interviews, days after calling Michelle Obama a tranny. So, again, all I'm saying is we need her to publicly give a blood test, and you only need a drop of blood to do a DNA check, and she can send it out to a bunch of private labs and put all this to bed right now. And if her identity is a woman, I respect that. Seriously, I respect the Wachowski brother because